You're a veteran and you want to buy a home, but you need help selecting the right people to put on your team. You need help selecting the right service providers to help you get to the finish line. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today and what you need to look for in the people that you're going to put on your team to give you the highest probability of success and the best opportunity to maximize your benefit. Who you work with matters in this instance, because what I'm going to tell you now is while everybody is going to say that they offer a VA home loan or they support veterans and they want to help veterans into homes, not everybody is an expert. And what you need in this process is somebody who has a proven track record and an expert. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through some of the key points that you need to be on the lookout for when you're selecting both a real estate agent and a lender to work with. Having the information on how your benefit works and what the details are, and maybe even how to access it is one thing. Executing on that information and being successful in your investing is something totally different. And depending on who you put on the team and who you have working with you and for you, those outcomes can be very different. It's not an exaggeration to say that it could mean tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars being left on the table depending on what you're buying and where you're buying it if you work with the wrong service provider. So we're going to start with the mortgage side first. What do you need to look for when selecting a loan officer and a company to trust with helping you access your VA home loan benefit? Well, you need a lender that actually does a fair amount of VA home loan. Your home loan program is very unique and it doesn't function like other mortgage products does. The guidelines are completely different and what you're able to do with that loan program is completely different, and it doesn't share a lot of the same features as the other loans that you hear or see out in the marketplace, conventional, FHA, etc. And if you don't have a loan officer that's doing this every single day and is an expert, has hundreds or thousands of reps at getting people into homes with their VA loan, you could be leaving money on the table or you could be getting just bad advice. And so you want to make sure when you're searching for a lender, you're asking the question, how many VA loans do you do? Is this something that you specialize in? And you want to look for receipts, right? You want receipts of that expertise. You want to see it in their reviews. You want to see it in their social media profiles if they have those. You want to see that they in fact are helping veterans into homes and helping them leverage their benefit to the fullest extent that is possible. You also want to make sure that their company does not have specific guidelines that are going to be a barrier to you maximizing your benefit. And what I mean by that is you probably have somebody in your sphere or in your old unit or a family member that was in the service that used their VA loan, and they told you certain things about the VA loan that may not be true. They may have told you that you needed a minimum credit score of X, or you could only buy a duplex, or you could only use it once. There is a ton of misinformation out there, and it's because of the lack of information and also the lender that places guidelines over and above what the VA says is possible. We call those overlays. These are rules from the bank that are laid over the VA's handbook and what they say is possible. So for instance, you may get turned down at your bank because they say you need a 660 credit score when the reality is the VA does not have a minimum credit score requirement. The VA does not say there's a specific number that you must have in order to qualify for a VA loan. That is the bank's guidance. And their credit score requirement would be an overlay. That would be something that would limit you. There's also overlays related to debt to income, so how much money you have to make in order to qualify for X amount of house. Those are all different things that they've put in place on their own that are outside of what the VA says is possible. So when you're looking for a lender, you want to make sure that you're asking those questions and you're asking if they have these overlays and things like that. The other thing that you want to make sure is, do they handle all their processing in-house? Do they own the process? So every banking institution is a little bit different. If you go into your bank, you might apply with somebody at a desk that's sitting there in front of you, but as soon as that loan goes into processing, it gets shipped across the country, and now you're just this nameless, faceless number in the system. That is not a good recipe for getting the most out of your benefit, and it's also a recipe for having complications, for things to come up and you can't work through a solution because that loan officer and that processor are not directly connected and they don't have a very good working relationship. That can impact how smooth your loan goes, and that can impact how you're able to negotiate and leverage the lender, the ease and the speed of working with that lender when you're making offers on a property. That could be the difference between you being a very desirable offer and you not getting your offer reviewed at all. So you want to make sure that those loans are processed in-house, that processor, underwriter, or closer works for that branch or that loan officer specifically, because that's going to greatly impact how easy of a situation, how easy of an approval process, and how much your real estate partner is able to leverage you as the lender to get your offer accepted. So that's just a few of the things on the lending side. So we'll move on to the real estate side. And the first thing on the real estate side is going to be the same level of experience. Now, you got to remember that, I'm a veteran, just like many of you that are watching this, and only a small percentage of the population serves. So only a small percentage of what most people are seeing as clients are prior service or active duty. So if there's 2% of us that serve in the country, it's not unreasonable to think that the average real estate agent and mortgage loan officer, only about 2% of their clients are using VA loans. And that is not a very high percentage, and that does not give you the adequate amount of reps to be intimately familiar with the loan program and know exactly how to help the veteran get into the house and negotiate on their behalf. That real estate agent is going to be responsible for talking to the seller and advocating for you and telling that seller's representation exactly why your offer should get accepted and why your offer is maybe not inferior to some of the other offers, because that can be a misconception. You're putting zero money down. There may be another offer on the table with a significantly larger down payment, and to the untrained mind, that can seem like a more attractive offer. And it's your agent's responsibility to advocate for you and get your offer accepted and be able to educate the other side. If they're not educated themselves, they are not going to be able to educate the seller side on your benefit. You also want to ask the real estate agent exactly how they're going to leverage your loan program to negotiate with the seller, because there are certain things within the guidelines of the VA loan that give you a lot of negotiating leverage if it's used correctly. There's a lot that can be said, and there's a lot of positives that person, that real estate agent, can communicate to the seller side that makes you more attractive and helps you win. And if they know the ins and outs of the program, they are better equipped to negotiate on your behalf, and they're better equipped to get you a better deal from the seller side and get the seller to agree to accept your offer. So these are a few things on the real estate side that you need to be asking. You need to know, both on the mortgage side and the real estate side, you need to make sure that they're familiar with how to work with a veteran's home loan and how to work with active duty or people that are transitioning out of the service, and they know exactly how the home loan works. Both sides, both mortgage and real estate, it comes down to the experience and how many veterans they've been able to help into homes and how educated they are on the process. Now, there's a couple other things that you need to be able to ask your service providers when you're interviewing different people on who you want to work with. And so I've put together a checklist for you that helps you do exactly that. It's got the questions that you need to be asking and the answers that you should be hearing from those people if they understand the loan program and they have the level of experience that you want when selecting a real estate agent and a mortgage professional. If you click the link below, give me your email address and I will send you the checklist that I put together for you that's going to tell you exactly what you need to ask, and it's going to give you the answers that you should be listening for in order to make sure you're making the best decision when you're selecting a real estate agent and a loan officer to help you leverage your hard-earned benefit. This is a massive opportunity and an incredible wealth building tool, and if it's used correctly, can give you a huge head start on the rest of the market.